All right, what do you think you need to do first here? What should you do first? Are we trying to solve it? What are we trying to find?
Can I use your hole puncher, please?
What are we trying to find?
The domain.
The domain, range, asymptotic restrictions, and transformations. So what do you think we need to look at? Or what would be good to look at? The graph of this function, yes. So every single one of you should have your calculators out. So I'm going to put this into my calculator, into my y equals 2 log of x plus 4.
How are you doing your calculator?
Minus 3.
Oh.
Then I look at the graph. Now, having the graph is just good to look at, but did I necessarily need it to find my domain and range?
No.
No. Domain is the what values? The x values. What on this function changes where your x values start? What number? The 4, right? Because this moves the graph where? Shh. Left and right. So this 4 means that the graph starts where for the x values? Where does it start? Negative 4. So my domain is what? X such that x is what? Greater than or equal to negative 4.
Wait, why negative 4?
Because remember, it's backwards. So this was x plus 4. It means it's actually on the graph at negative 4. Or you could have written it in interval notation, like so. Either one works. Now, before we get into range, this graph moved where? Down 3. However, when we're thinking about logarithmic functions, what do we know about log functions? What do we know? They are the what to exponential functions? They're the, starts with an I. They're the inverse of exponential. And when you graph exponential, it looks something like this. Right? Where this approaches, gets closer and closer and closer to 0, but never touches it. Right? For some reason, when you graph logs, so this is my log function. It's the direct inverse. For some reason, when you put this in your y equals, it does not show this whole portion of the line, even though it's there. You just have to remember that even though on your graph it stops here, so see on our calculator, didn't it stop? Even though it stops, it actually continues downward forever. So what is my range? All real numbers. Your range is all real numbers.
Why does it stop?
You know, I don't know. I think the calculator has a hard time graphing it. Okay. And then where is my asymptote? Right, because yes, on this graph, it did stop, but remember, it's the inverse function, so it should continue on. It gets closer and closer and closer to this negative 4 line. So this negative 4 line is actually x equals negative 4. And then what transformations occurred? Where did this graph move?
Left 4 down, 3 stretched by 2.
Translated. Left 4, down 3, and vertically stretched by 2.
Wait, so the asymptote, that's like the restriction?
Asymptotic restriction, it's basically just asking where is the asymptote. That's all it's asking.
Wait. How is that negative 4?
There's a line right there.
Oh, why is it? Okay.
Any questions? All right.